So I understand that there isn't a cookie cutter approach that you can take to preparing a consulting proposal. And I even understand that there are certain industries where, the way that you prepare your proposal or the way that the content is presented or even the sequence in the sequence of the content is, very, very specific to that industry. But there is a certain approach that I take to our proposals, and I think that we do a very good job in preparing our proposals, and they've been very effective. I think I've shared in the past that I once did an evaluation of our win rate. Our win rate from our proposals at the time it was around 60%. Now, so I just wanted to give you an idea. We think we're okay at preparing proposals, pretty effective. I won't say okay, I would say definitely effective. So but that approach is laid out in the Ultimate Consulting and Freelancers Starter Kit. And you can actually get a link to the starter kit below. And of course, you can also go to the Ready, Set, Go Consult website to actually access that starter kit. And in that starter kit is a proposal template that we've used for probably 2 or 3 years. We've now updated it a little bit to reflect some of the additional details that we put in each proposal. But yeah, that's what I'm here to talk about today, to talk about ways that you can really maximize your consulting proposals. So, if you don't know, my name is Patrice Davis. I am the CEO of GrantsWorks and the lead trainer of GrantsWorks Academy. That's our online source of federal grant training. And we, I've been in business now for over 4 years. And in the 4 years, I've learned a thing or two about how to craft proposals that work, proposals that are effective, and proposals that do double duty or even triple duty in our case. And I don't go into the details about how we have them, do double duty or triple duty, but we definitely at least provide a template in the Ultimate Consultants and Freelancer Starter Kit. So I'm also the CEO of Ready, Set, Go Consult, and that is a business accelerator that I created to help consultants and freelancers accelerate the growth of their businesses by helping them build a business infrastructure, automate certain activities to save them time and make more money, and of course, help them, eliminate the guessing game. So we really help them build the infrastructure, help them think very, very, help them have the clarity they need to determine exactly what services they offer, who they're offering it to, where their buyers hang out, how their buyers buy, different types of business models they can consider for their consulting businesses, helping them really understand how they can ramp up their thought leadership so they stand out. And just quite a few other details, especially as it relates to using your intellectual property, all the things that are really important to make sure that you are providing services in a number of ways, not just one-on-one services, not obviously just one to many, but that you're thinking, big picture about your consulting business. So if you're interested in that topic, stick around, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. So, what is a proposal? So, a proposal is a document that is designed to convince a company to buy a product or service. A proposal is typically sent to a prospect. Let's say you've had a sales call, a free consultation with the with the prospect, with the organization that's potentially interested in your services. You then, depending on how the conversation went and whether or not you think it's worth your time or your staff's time to create a proposal, you will create a proposal, because now you're taking it from just a verbal conversation to putting all of these details, all the things that you can do for their organization on paper. And so one of the things I want to do is differentiate between a proposal that one sends in response to a request for proposal. That's more of let's say, a solicitation that an organization releases to request proposals from organizations that they believe can at least do the work. And then they give them a deadline to submit the proposal. There are all these details that you need to adhere to. They are very, very prescriptive in the way that they want the information presented to them. So they're basically saying, this is what we're looking for. This is the deadline. Here are the things that we want you to really, really feature and highlight so we can evaluate your services. So I'm not speaking of that kind of really prescriptive proposal. Again, I'm speaking about a proposal that you prepare after you've had a sales call with a prospective client. Okay. Now, there are proposals that these are proposals that are designed by you or someone on your firm to in your team to include the details you want to feature to communicate to this prospective client that you understand the scope of work. That's number one. Number two, you can provide that you provide an overview of your company and its services. And it also, explains how you can actually complete the work. You don't provide the how, you just basically provide some background on your company or maybe some similar projects that you've completed for other clients to, demonstrate that you can actually do the work as well. It also lays out why your company should be selected to provide the services. And in many instances, they are customized to the prospect. That's one of the reasons why I typically, I've tried a number of things and I'm still trying to figure out ways to manage the customization because, it can be it can be at least 2 hours. At least it takes me about 2 hours to prepare a proposal. And I'd like to be able to cut that in, not in half. I'd like to cut that in by 75%. I want to get to the point where I can prepare a proposal in 30 minutes. And there are ways to do that. I'm sure I'll be able to do that. There are a couple of things that we're going to put in place to make that happen. Until then, it's taking me 2 hours, and I would like for it to take less time. I would say an hour. I would really say an average of about an hour and 15 minutes or so, an hour and a half, not probably quite 2 hours. So there's also RFQs, requests for quotes, RFIs, requests for information, RFAs, requests for application. And we do actually cover that in the Ready, Set, Go Consult Business Accelerator, just to help you understand the difference between the two and what you should actually be submitting in those different scenarios. All right, so now we're going to talk about the proposal content. As you can see, as you can tell, I'm moving through this pretty quickly because I think it's easy to communicate a proposal because it's something that's tangible. It's a document. We know what we're trying to communicate on this document. We know who the recipient is. There isn't a lot of gray area. There isn't a lot of nebulous. It's not nebulous at all. It's a document. Now, what should be on that document that's going to help to basically help with converting that prospect into an actual client. And as I said before, we've checked our rates. Our rates are pretty strong. I haven't updated it since early last year to know what our rates are, but just want to make sure you are aware. Maybe you should start definitely doing that. Track how many proposals actually result in a sale. I think that's something you should be tracking on a regular basis. That could even be one of the metrics that you track as a consultant, right? How many clients are you able to convert, with a proposal, or quite frankly, sometimes without a proposal? But those are typically referrals, and we've already had. I've definitely shared some information here about how we've been able to really ramp up the number of proposals that referrals that we get, and how we definitely understand that is a result of the excellent service that we try to provide to every client. And we understand how, again, that excellent service you provide to client A ripples out and can result in 2 to 3 clients refer to you, which means you don't have to work as hard to convert that person into an actual client because their referral came from someone that they trusted. So now, number of articles online about how to prepare a consulting proposal. And at GrantsWorks, the company, my consulting company, our proposals always focus on the client's needs. We start out by making sure that we're clear about who the client is and what their needs are and what the project or proposed project is. So immediately on page 1, they have they understand that we understand what they're looking for, a little bit about their company, what we're proposing to provide. And then the latter half of the page, or the second half of the page, is okay, and here's why we're the best ones to do it. Okay. So this we focus on the client for a number of reasons. because it really communicates to them that you've actually taken the time to learn a little bit about them, that you were listening during the sales call, and that your company can provide the service in the way that you know would be best for the company, right? And there's sometimes that you can add certain details to the proposal to help them understand that not only can are you the best consultant for the job, but um, there are all these other benefits that they can get from working with your firm, not just the delivery of that service, but certainly on other benefits as well, other non-cash benefits. So um, but other areas of the proposal that we really try to focus on is we make sure that we clarify the deliverables. It is not a page long. It is maybe 3 to 4 sentences, maybe 5 sentences max, where we lay out each of the deliverables. So in other words, about 4 to 5 sentences per deliverable. We will do, this, that, and that, just so it's easier to read. No one wants to read a book, right? So that's something to consider. We do provide a capability profile of our firm. Um, and there's a certain way that we word it in our proposals so that the client is feels much more confident in who we are, and our experience and expertise that we bring to the table. And of course, we describe the team that will work on the project. So we do have team members, and so we will, in a certain part of the proposal, lay out who are the team that will be their primary contacts, a little snippet about each team member. Some instances we'll add like a picture. Some clients, when you send a proposal, they want maybe the CV or the resume of the people who will be working on the project. But I haven't had to do that much. And in the case, in that, and actually in the last instance, we did that, and we did get the award. It was for an actual RFP. We also have other important sections. We have testimonials. We just make it very, very clear what the service is, a few bullets on what the service entails, the price, the timeline, all of those things. And we do it again, I think, in a way that's pretty efficient. So just want to make sure you're thinking about that. It should also, of course, have no errors at all. That's probably why it takes me 2 hours, because I am painstakingly making sure there are no errors, because an error could be what breaks the deal for you. So just be aware that the proposal can be fantastic. It can be very visually appealing. Your team's expertise could be just on point, but certain one or two errors in certain places can really tank your proposal, because the client could be thinking, and rightfully so, if you're making a mistake on your document selling your firm to us, then that means that we can't really trust you with the work that we're doing, especially if the work that we're doing is very, very detailed, right? So just wanted to bring that home a little. So we just want to make sure you all remember, again, the Ultimate Consultants and Freelancer Starter Kit has a proposal template in the starter kit. You can get that at the link in the comments, or you can also, of course, go to the Ready Set Go Consult website, readysetgoconsult.com. All right, and I think that probably, I'm hoping that helps in terms of the approach and some of the details that you definitely want to highlight. So just want to make sure you're thinking about ways that you can integrate your clients' needs, even sometimes their own words that they share during the sales call. Communicate that back to them. And so another thing that we also do is we actually include our references in almost every proposal now. It used to be some of them. Now we do them in almost all of our proposals, because you're basically saying, hey, here's what you need to have done. Here's how we can do that for you. Here's our expertise. And here are the other organizations similar to yours where we've actually provided similar service. And oh, by the way, here's your testimonial, or here's a summary of the work that we provided. Oh, and here's their phone number, so you can give them a call and find out how they really felt about our services. And so the way that we use the proposal to do double duty and triple duty is something that we actually shared in the past on the Ready Set Go Consult website. Go to the blog. There's a lot of information on that blog. And so you can easily read that when you're ready. And so another thing we also have to think about, and I think we should be honest about this. I understand that it's not just the proposal that wins a client over. I do think you can push someone over the finishing line, right? Maybe they were already very warm to working with your organization, and the proposal just kind of seals the deal. But there may be instances where they're still a little lukewarm after receiving the proposal. And there are certain ways that we make sure that we follow up to build that relationship, to even sometimes communicate the urgency in those instances where there is an urgency. So just want to make sure that you understand that I am aware that the proposal isn't the only thing. It is one of the several touch points that a client, a prospective client, has with you or your team members to make them feel comfortable that yes, we should invest this five figures, even six figures in this consulting firm. So the better these initial touch points are, actually all the touch points, the more likely you are to be able to basically command the pay for the service. Again, the proposal just helps you get that much closer. So as I said before, make sure that the proposals you prepare are only for those prospects where you really believe that proposal is going to move the, move it up, move the notch a little bit. If it's for, and I've come up with some really wily and crafty ways of saying the following. I don't say it this way, but basically what I'm saying is, it doesn't sound like you are really ready to move forward, and I really don't want to take the time right now to prepare this proposal because this proposal isn't really going to make the difference. You're not ready. Your team isn't ready. You really are just, trying to see what you can find out by kind of dipping your toes in the water. I don't say all of that clearly, but there are times when I avoid even proposing a proposal, or saying yes to a proposal when I know the prospect is not ready. And as I said before, it takes me about an hour. I'm still the person in our firm that prepares those proposals. And so I want to make sure that I'm going to spend really valuable time until I'm able to hire someone to focus on this in addition to other business development. I'm the one that is doing this and my time is valuable. So I don't want to spend time working on a proposal with a prospect that's not really interested. So bottom line is just really think about that. Don't prepare a proposal for every situation. And you guys probably already know that anyway. You're probably already ahead of the game. You guys probably already beat me on that one. I was until about a year ago, trying to do all the proposals, doing all the things, and now I'm protecting my time by not doing that. Another thing that we do is instead of doing proposals at any time, I now only prepare proposals one particular day of the week. And I make sure that the prospects are aware of that. We actually only prepare proposals on XYZ date. And so you can get it on XYZ date. I can't do that anymore. There was a time where I would put myself under stress because I had actual client engagements, maybe something with a team member, maybe, I'm working on a report or proofing something that someone else did. And in the middle of that, I had to pause and just kind of feel a little bit of stress because I committed to providing a proposal to someone in the middle of, by Tuesday. So we don't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore. So, and that's one of the things I like about being in business a little bit longer. Now that I'm in this year 4, going on year 5, I'm not trying to prove myself as much. I really am not. I know the value of our services. I've seen the impact we make. I'm not trying to convince myself anymore. And therefore, I'm not doing all the things. As a matter of fact, I just made yet another commitment to myself that I'm going to pull some other things back. So those of you who may be listening, if you're on the Ready, Set, Go Consult emailing list, expect a big announcement soon. I'm going to make some changes so I can, I'm going to be making some changes, and these are changes that are going to help me really focus on the things that I know I need to focus on. I'm still going to be doing my lives every Thursday because I enjoy them, and I do think that they are helping people. But I just wanted to make sure that you all are aware that some big things are ahead for me and for my company. Now, one of the things that we do in the starter kit is we lay out, I think, about 5 proposal development apps. And for those of you on the call, if you have any questions about proposals, drop them in the chat. I'll do my best to answer. I am not a pro. I'm just really good at preparing, laying out information in a way that is. I'm not a graphic person or anything like that. I'm just good at laying out information that makes it clear to see, exactly what we're saying. I know how to toot our own horn. I know how to speak the language, speak like our clients. I know how to try to assuage their concerns by, pinpointing certain things about our expertise. And so I think all of those things are what uh, enhances or increases our proposal success rate. Okay. No questions. That's okay. So yes, so there are a number of applications. Some of them are multifunction applications. So they create proposals, they do this and they do that. They also have applications that's all they do is really enhance the proposal. They basically prepare proposals in an automated way. I probably need to look into one of those applications myself. Very, very serious. Like I said, I want to start getting to the point where I spend maybe 30 minutes on each proposal. And I do have to say this one thing. I do want to admit this one thing. So we use HoneyBook. And so there was a time where I was using HoneyBook to create the proposals, but I found it unwieldy. And I found that the time that I spent uh, creating a proposal in HoneyBook, and maybe it's the format we chose, I could have spent in the other template that with the other format that we typically use. And so I stopped using it. I also found that the win rate was less because I think the way it was delivered to clients is so different than the way proposals for consulting work is typically done. So I decided to stop doing that. However, I am going to start it again, but using a format that looks a lot like my current proposal because I want that proposal to be part of a stream of automated actions. Okay. So we are going to go back to that because I need to automate certain things. And we are actually going to be hiring an operations strategist to make all of this happen. In order to do, the things that I want to focus on, that's why I'm going to be making an announcement soon to the Ready, Set, Go Consult audience, because, it's time to really focus on ways to, really streamline the business even further. So I'm going to end by saying, unless you guys have any questions, that having a well-crafted, client focused, again, I'm going to say it again, client focused, consulting proposal that's well designed, that is error free, that really highlights those things that are going to capture their eyes and really help to convince them and help them walk up to that line, is really one of the first products that your prospects see. So the way it presents is is important for obvious reasons. It's part of that. It's actually the second impression that they have of you and your company. The first is the first is when they come to your website. The second may be when they fill out a contact form. The third potentially is when you have that sales call with them. That's that face to face. The fourth is that proposal, right? So all four of these need to be convincing your prospect, hey, this is the firm I want to work with. They're professional, they're timely, they do, their work is laid out really well, their systems are streamlined, so I don't feel any resistance, I don't feel any friction to just scheduling a meeting with them. They've thought about everything. All I have to do is click here, and I have everything that I need. So and these are the things that we talk about and we feature in the Ready, Set, Go Consult Accelerator. So just want to make sure you all are aware of that. If you're interested in the proposal template that I spoke about, you can get the Ultimate Consultants and Freelancer Starter Kit, again, in the link. And of course, go to readysetgoconsult.com to check out our blogs, get that starter kit, and see what you can learn if you're interested in learning more about how to really accelerate the growth of your consulting business. I do want to say that one of our listeners here last week suggested this fantastic book. I started reading it, and I wish I remember the name, but it's basically something about wealthy consultant. So if you're on this call now and you hear me, if you're on the call, I just want to let you know I took your recommendation. I started reading the book. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the recommendation. By the way, as you can tell, this is give and take. This isn't just me talking at you. This is us communicating, right? So I am paying attention and I am taking your advice and definitely trying to learn from you as well. So again, if you're on this call or if you watch this later, if you watch it, drop a note in the comments. If anything I shared tonight helps you, gives you a little bit more insight into the way you approach your consulting proposal, drop that in the comments as well, whether either after the live or during the live. That will be fantastic. So I knew this was going to be a short one, guys, because again, it's a proposal, it's a tangible thing. It's not nebulous. It's a document. It's just how well that document works for you is what I really want to drive home the point, that it can be that thing that pushes you across that finish line. So thanks to you guys for showing up. Hey there, Danielle. How are you? Thank you. It was good. I purchased the kit. Great, great, great. I'm glad to hear that. Um, and so, yeah, thank you guys for showing up. I really appreciate it. You are seeing someone who just hosted our first in-person summit. Like we literally created our own summit, and it was a lot of work. Our team did a fantastic job. We had a total of 11 speakers, and that summit was between 8 and 4:30 today. And we covered a lot of really technical details as it relates to our industry. It was held in a fantastic space. We offered both in-person and virtual attendance, and so it went very, very well. But what you're seeing is your girl is starting to come down from that natural high of this kind of operating at a high level over the last several weeks as we got those final details together. Um, so I don't know, maybe I'll do a video on how to run your own in-person event. Obviously, this was more on a smaller scale in terms. This is not like filling out a huge conference hall or a stadium or anything, but all those details matter, and anything that touches your attendees, you want to make sure that they're as perfect as possible and as error-free as possible. And I think this was a really, really great learning experience. Your girl is tired. Your girl is coming down from doing this again, because we're organizing the event, we're preparing for the event, we're making sure we have the swag bags, all the things, while we're also serving our clients, while we're in the middle of other things for the business. And so just imagine kind of having all those balls in the air, even though we did it ease isn't the word. We did it in a way that wasn't frantic. And so because it wasn't frantic and we weren't pulling our hair out, the day before, it went off and we did really well. But at the same time, it's time to pull it back down and focus on the business. So thank you guys for showing up. I really appreciate it. Drop any questions you have in the chat. I do read the comments. I get a notification when there's a comment. I do read them. So if you have a question and if I'm able to answer it, please drop the question. Drop your comments or any questions, and I'll answer it as soon as I can. And look at it. It's a 7:29. Wow, this is a record. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful night.